I recently read the book The One Thing by authors Gary Keller and Jay. Papasan Gary is the founding father of the foremost important real estate agency within the U.S. Keller Williams. He's also a best-selling author and a successful business coach. Over the years he's learned to understand success in an exceedingly rather unconventional way. You see, after college Gary got into the important estate industry and was hell-bent on being the only in his field. He bought into the philosophy that if you're visiting succeed you would like to juggle many things and tackle many responsibilities. Each morning he would listen to an inspirational theme song just to pump himself up, to urge ready for the torrent of demands which is in a position to come back his way. Gary ended up dissipating his energy up to now and stretching his attention so thin that he eventually burned out. Gary says, "It got me success and it got me sick. Eventually it got me sick of success." At that point in his career he decided to undertake and do a special approach. He intentionally started focusing on fewer things. He says, "I challenged the axioms of success and guess what? I became more successful than I'd ever dreamed possible and felt better than I'd ever felt in my life." He realized that individuals achieve success in spite of doing many things, not because they're doing many things. As I read through the chapter is trying to understand how specializing in less can help you achieve more. I accustomed be reminded of a chart that I found within the book Quality Software Management by Gerald Weinberg. Gerald studied several software programmers over the course of several years and discovered that an infinite percentage of programmers' productivity seemingly vanished after they focused on more than one project during the day. The more projects they took on, the longer seemed to vanish. By absorbing 2 projects they gave the impression to waste 20% of their day. After they were usurping 5 projects, 80% of their day was completely lost to non-productive activities. Yarrell describes that loss in productivity as a result of context switching. Here is additionally a simple exercise to help you understand the side effects of context switching. See how briskly you will be able to count from 1 to 5. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, that was just under 1 second. Now lists the letters within the alphabet from a dub that took about the identical time. Now try to alternate between counting numbers and sequencing letters 1A 2B 3C 4D 5E. Alternating my focus to complete both tasks took me twice as long as doing each task independently. Now why is that? Both tasks are super easy and familiar to me. Why is there such an important come by my performance? But the book The One Thing describes that the extra time needed to vary your focus adds up because we would like time to make the decision to vary, which we must remember where we left off before we switched. We also must recall the rules of executing a selected task. In the case of the software programmers, if a programmer needed to unravel problems throughout the day on multiple projects, he or she was forced to spend mental processing power to figure out where they left off and what they needed to undertake to within the constraints of that particular project. Whenever we've more than one priority at any given time or are asked to manage over one project throughout the day, we experience the energy depleting, productivity destroying effects of switching our focus to attenuate switching costs throughout the day. We wish to urge good at asking a problem after we are tempted to target over one priority at a time. Why an issue? Well, questions direct our focus. They engage our critical thinking. Once we ask a question, our brain will always try and answer it. Asking better questions allows our brain to return up with better answers. The question that stands at the middle of this book and at the guts of your moment by moment is that the only thing I can do. This makes everything else easier or superfluous by doing so. Ask this question once you feel very anxious. Ask this question once you feel distracted. This question over and over until the laser-like focus developed. This question shapes our thinking in 2 ways. First, it reminds us that if we wish to be high performers, there's no such thing as having priorities. There's just one priority that's the foremost important thing at this moment in time. During a lot of times we expect things are even as important because we've such a big amount of requests that come our way, and feeling overwhelmed makes everything seem urgent, and that we mistake urgency. After you ask the question, what the sole thing I can handle doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary, causing you to pause and break the illusion that just a way of urgency does not imply it's equal as important as everything else. After you ask the question enough, inevitably one thing will rise to the surface, allowing everything else to dissolve. The sole thing that rises to the highest, it's often the thing that contributes the foremost to your purpose. Your goal is just the goal. Gary says, the thing you wish your life to be around over the rest is what you wish to recollect at the tip of your career and at the top of your life. The second way that this question modifies your focus is by making your thinking that about the longer term. The effect of your actions, one domino touched, have the power to beat a later domino 50% larger in size. You would like completing one thing to own the identical effect as a domino on future stuff you want to require the tiniest action now, so future actions that appear arduous are easier or unnecessary on. For instance, your priority is to induce a replacement customer for your business. Although there are many GS that you just can do to try and do this, the primary small thing that you just can do is 2 minutes to go looking for that customer, as this search will enable the ultimate meeting to require place running smoothly and allows you to create a relationship with this customer and make getting that customer most easier. To paraphrase Gary Keller's phrase, the key to success isn't to try to do more, it's to try and do some things rather well. So stop paying the switch costs and begin and asking the full day focus question to remain focused on one thing at any given moment. Your goal is to ask enough times in order that you'll be able to confidently say that this can be where I'm presupposed to be now, doing exactly what I'm doing. And this was the first message I gathered from this whole thing. If you discover it difficult to simply accept the very fact that you just must specialize in less so as to realize more, I highly recommend choosing the book. Thanks for watching.